Hi, this is a training video today on how to do leaf cleanup. Now, leaf cleanup is pretty much a fall-winter service that we complete here in South Carolina. Obviously, if you live in states where there's a lot of snow in the wintertime, you're going to have to do your off-season work differently. So this training video is particularly for what I call the off-season, whereas you can watch my training video on regular lawn care maintenance for the regular season, or what I call the growing season, which the growing season is March through October here in South Carolina, and then the off-season is from mid October through the end of February. So this video particularly is for the off season, and basically around here you mostly do leaf cleanup, and we do cut our cool season grasses once a month. Now, as far as the warm season grasses, I do actually run my mower over the top of them just for purposes of keeping them nice and striped looking, cleaned up of leaves, which we suck up over during the fall and winter months. And I will explain the steps accordingly to how we do that process. But again, the off season here, and what I'm going to be talking to you today, is basically leaf cleanup. Okay? There's a few different steps that we will do in the fall cleanup that are a little bit different than the regular lawn care maintenance. In the regular lawn care maintenance video, I showed that you do the 4 steps: edging, weed eating, mowing, and blowing. Now we're going to do those same services in our regular maintenance that we do for all of our year-round customers. We're going to do those steps, but we're going to switch the steps up because of the debris that we will have to clean up as far as leaves and extra stuff that has just fallen, pine needles and things that might be in the yard. Okay, the steps for the fall winter cleanup, which I basically just call leaf cleanup, because again, we're not doing any kind of snow removal or anything here in South Carolina, and that's the types of services that I offer. So the steps are as follows. First of all, we have edging. What you're going to do is you're going to want to go and you're going to want to edge the curbs, the sidewalks, driveways, the edges of roads, anywhere that you would see a nice fine cut or want to see a nice fine cut. You're going to need to do that first of all, okay? One of the reasons why you want to do this first is because you're going to have lots of debris, leaves, possibly even pine needles that have fallen into the cracks of these areas, and you're going to want to edge that, and that will actually blow that stuff out of there or shoot that stuff out of there as you're edging. So you're going to do all the edging first of all to get all of the debris out. It will shoot out into the road, to the into the turf or the grass, and so you're going to want to do that very first thing. Okay, the next step you're going to want to do is weed eating, and you're going to want to weed eat around all of your poles, light poles, fences, mailboxes, all of your fences around the house, because when you shoot that debris out from when that weed eater whacks down all of that tall grass and other debris, is going to shoot out into the turf or the grass and going to make a mess also. So we want to get this done first, so that when we go back and go through our blowing steps, that we're able to blow everything into the grass, chop it up or suck it up with the bagging systems. So the second step is weed eating. So make sure you do that. You can actually do the first or the second step You can flip-flop, do weed whacking and then edging, either one. You just want to make sure you do those two first of all. Now, when I do my services, a lot of times I actually use my weed eater, or some people call it a weed whacker, for my edging and my weed eating. So I actually do the first and the second step together. Sometimes I'll use my stick edger if the grass is really, really bad and the weed whacker just can't quite cut through it well enough. It's real thick grass, especially centipede, which is thick creeping grass. If it has not been maintained, the edge, and it's like a first time service that I go out there for the first time, I'll use a stick edger, which is just the metal blade. I also have a walk behind edger, which has the metal blade also. You can refer to my weed eating or edging training video on the steps for that and how to determine which you would like to use. But as far as the first and second step, you're going to want to be able to weed eat and edge, first of all, to get all that debris out of those cracks and crevices, okay? The third step you're going to want to do is actually blow, because you're going to have a lot of leaves on the outside of your curbs, all over your driveways, your sidewalks, any edges of grass, mulch beds. You're going to want to make sure you really do a good job blowing the mulch beds out. You got to be very careful. If they have pine needles, you want to blow all the pine needles back out into the grass. Or the mulch. If they've had mulch spread and you've got leaves falling on the mulch or pine needles, you're going to have to be very careful. But you need to lightly brush the top with your blower, blow over, blow out into the turf. Go around the road, the sidewalks, the curbs. You want to blow all your debris back into the grass. Okay? So when you do this step, you need to make sure that you do a very good job going around the perimeter of all the turf, anything on the outside of every part of the turf, the sides of the houses, the back of the house, the front of the house. You want to blow everything into the grass, all the debris, because when we get to the mowing step, we're going to actually suck those leaves up into the mower. Or, depending on how you do your leaf cleanup, or rake it up. But you're going to want to be able to get all the debris at once. So the third step is huge when you want to do cleanup, and you want to do it in the right order. So make sure you blow all the perimeters around every area of the turf. And once again, out in the road, if there's tons of leaves and stuff, don't just blow the leaves further across the road into the neighbor's yard, because they're going to come out and they're going to be irate and they're going to have your customer upset. So just blow everything that's on the perimeter of your neighbor's yard, including into the from the road into the grass, leaves. Obviously, big sticks and things you're going to want to pick up separately. Also, make sure you do porches, back porches, patios that are open that leaves would fall in. You're going to want to blow that in step 3. Blow that again out into the grass. Okay? Now, once you've completed the third step, then step 4 is actually the mowing, which you can see, refer to my year-round, how to do year-round estimates and year-round contracts and year-round regular maintenance. But what I do with my customers is, during this time of the season, I'm actually only servicing their yard one time a month. Now, different guys do it differently. That's how I do it. I'm a school teacher during the year, so I don't have time during the fall, winter months to show up every week, and I make really good money the way I do it. So make sure you refer to my how to estimate year-round, and it explains that in more detail. But, however, when you get to the mowing step, you should have had all your edges, your weed eating done, so any debris that came from the edging and the weed eating will have already been shot out. Then when you have blown everything into the grass, you're going to have all your debris into the turf areas. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is when you are blowing the debris from the outside perimeters in, make sure you blow at least 1.5 to 2 feet into the grass edge. You want at least a good 1.5 edge on the grass where there is no debris. So you want to blow it further inside the curb areas, because what's going to happen when you make that first stripe on the outside edge with your mower, if your debris is just sitting on the line of the curb or the edge of the turf, the way the mower, even if you have a suction bag on the back or a bagging system, a leaf vac system of some sort, it always shoots debris out to the left side, which usually that's the run that you'll run on the edge would be the left side, because you have the bagging system shooting towards the right. But however you do it, it usually tends to shoot debris just slightly outside of under the deck. So if you have your debris just hanging out on the edge and you've just blown it in just enough to reach the edge, then when you run your mower across that first pass, you're going to shoot a good 6 inches of little debris back out into the road and back out on the sidewalk and the driveways, and then you're going to have to go back again, blow it back into the grass, then suck it up again. You're just going to work harder. So make sure when you are blowing, you blow all the debris at least 1.5 feet inside the edge of the perimeter. Okay? So step 4 is, I call this mowing, but in the mowing process, you're actually going to be also sucking up the leaves with your bagging system. Now, you can refer to my video on doing this without a bagging system, because it's going to be very different if you do not have a mower that you can bag the stuff and you actually have to, by hand, rake up everything. But you can refer to that if you don't quite have the equipment. But I'm assuming that you have at least one mower with a bag. Even if it's a push mower, you're going to do this same process in the same steps. Okay, so on step 4, we have the mowing. What you're going to do is you are going to mow in a circular position. Okay, the very first time you mow over the grass, you're going to go in a clockwise circular position and pick up the leaves. Now, I'll explain why you want to do that here in just a second. But make sure you go in a clockwise position. This is not the time where you're going to be striping. Because again, if you run one pass down a stripe down one way and you turn around and try to stripe back when there's tons of leaves, you're just going to be shooting debris out the edges of the deck, particularly even if you have a vac on the side where your chute is off of your deck. It's still going to slightly shoot debris out to the right side. So you're going to want to make a pass around clockwise, come to the inside. You're going to hang out over the edge of the debris that you did not quite get from each pass, and you're going to go again clockwise, and you're going to suck up everything accordingly. Then you will go back and you will do your striping. Okay? So you want to do the mowing step after, again, you've gotten all the debris in the yard. Depending on the type of system you have, I have 2 different vac or leaf bagging type systems. The one on my Snapper Pro S75X is just a side. It's called the accelerator. It's a little metal chute on the side that picks up debris. When I use this mower, I do what is called mulching, which I will explain in just a minute. But that side chute is done for yards that do not have a lot of leaves, a lot of thick leaves. That is what I use that for. Now, for yards that have a lot of leaves, I actually use my little I've got a smaller size deck mower and actually less horsepower, but I've got an amazing bagging system. It's like a $2,000 bagging system that has an actual vac on the side. And when you run this over, it picks up a lot of leaves. It literally shreds them up in that vac system and shoots it into the back. So depending on the type of bagging system you have will really depend on how quickly you can get these things done. So having the bagger is huge. Now if you just have a little push mower, I still recommend you do the circular passes, even if you're a person that likes to do striping, just to suck everything up in a circle. Now for yards that you don't have a bagging system in, I will talk about, mulching is huge. I actually do this before I suck up most of my leaves. I actually run the mower over, again, in a circular motion, clockwise, and I mulch the leaves. I actually have these special mulching blades, which you can buy. They call them gator blades. I love them for the winter time. I actually don't like them very much in the summertime because they actually do dull quicker than your regular commercial blades for your commercial mowers. But they do an awesome job mulching the leaves. And a lot of lawns, you can mulch most of the leaves again as you go in that circular pattern and just continually shred up. By the time you get to the middle, you will have kind of a big strip of leaves right there gathered in the middle. But then what you do is you continue to just go back and forth over them with the mower with no bagger or anything, and you're gonna see them kind of blow the leaves out every which way. You just continually shred, go back and forth around in a circular motion, keep them to the inside, continue to run over them, and this will spread them out. And then you can put your little side chute bagger, or if you have a push mower, you can do the same thing. Put your bagger back on, or even one of the bigger bagging systems, and then suck up whatever leaves are left. Most of those leaves will be just shredded, and it's actually good for the grass. It's almost like a organic fertilizer when that mixes with the water and when it rains and everything. So that is the fourth step, the mowing, which again, you're cleaning up the leaves by sucking up those leaves with your mower. And the fifth step is blowing again. Okay? Now, when you blow, you are, this is the second time you're blowing, so this is the overall finish cleanup of blowing. So when you do that, you're pretty much cleaning up whatever little tiny dust and just little things that have shot out just a little bit over the driveways, sidewalks, curbs, road. You're just blowing that little shredded up debris back into the grass, and that will not make a big deal. You won't have to suck that up again with your mower unless you've just shot stuff out everywhere. You're going to have to blow it back in and then suck it back up with your mower. Now, if you want to refer to my video on lawn striping, then you can do that. Some people just cut the grass, just an overall even cut, even with that clockwise circular motion. And that's how a lot of people cut grass. That's how I did it about my first 3 years in business. I never had a customer complain. I always had great looking lawns. I recently do enjoy doing some striping patterns, especially on my tall fescue yards. And those of you who will get used to doing the fescue, you're going to like how it stripes very easily, depending on if you have a striping kit on your mower. But if you want to do the pattern stripings, even in the winter, fall season, or again the off season as I mentioned, then you can do that. But make sure you do all the leaf cleanup first, get everything sucked up and ready, and then you can go back over the lawn and you can do your striping. So that is a pretty much the wrap up of the fall, winter, regular lawn care maintenance.